Welcome to the PowerPoint Restarting Your Business, put on by the Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm Dr. Dale Caldwell, honored to be here. First, I want to begin by saying a little bit about the Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Our mission is to support, promote, and research entrepreneurship with a special focus on family and veteran businesses. Our programs, we've been around about 30 years. Our programs are the Family Business Alliance, which we've had for 30 years. A program called Veterans Launching Ventures, which is running every Tuesday evening. We've done that for 10 years. We help veterans who have a business idea to develop a business plan and start their business. We have a small business series where we have excellent speakers talking about issues related to small businesses. We've been doing that for 5 years. And we have student programs for 30 years. We're part of a statewide university pitch competition. We help students become entrepreneurs. I teach a class called Family Business Management. So we are very, very focused on the student space as well as the space of entrepreneurs. One of our newest additions over the last 5 weeks since the pandemic, we've been doing Family Business Fridays every Friday at 12 noon. We have a weekly Zoom call. This Friday, we have Al Tatone, who's the director of the Small Business Administration for the New Jersey region. Next week, we have Tim Sullivan, the CEO of the Economic Development Authority in New Jersey. So we've had some wonderful speakers who can answer the questions that small businesses, we call it Family Business Fridays. We put a face on family business, but we are open to any small business or even individuals to attend. And we typically have about 50 or 60 or so people. We also have started really next Wednesday, peer coaching for CEOs who would like, we typically have 10 or fewer CEOs to talk about some of the issues they're facing with. And it's a confidential session, but it's really a great way during this crisis to get some insights from some people who are dealing with similar issues. I'm a certified coach and I help to lead the session. In addition, we are becoming more and more a voice of small business. And so FDU has an excellent polling group. We've partnered with them to do a small business poll. Here is the link to the poll. Our QR code, and if any questions on anything, send it to rothman@fdu.edu. We really are trying to get more businesses to sign up for the poll, so please sign up if you're under 100 employees. I also have a TV show called Family Business World, and you can find this TV show, www.familybusinessworld.com, where I interview family businesses and we talk about the issues that are most important to family businesses around New Jersey. In addition, we are, have a wonderful studio actually in South Jersey, but we are also doing, we started a program called Family Business Week and really supporting family businesses. It's the 4th week in October every year, and we're encouraging people wherever they are in the world to support family businesses all the time, but especially during that week. We've also started during the pandemic a website called shopfamilynj.com, where we're encouraging people to buy gift cards for the businesses listed. And if you want your business listed, go on the site and we can make sure that you get up there. We also, as I said, have a veterans program. Our Veterans Launching Ventures program is going on now. We've partnered with Bridging the Gap and we help veteran businesses as they grow. We started another website called shopvetnj.com, again, to help veteran businesses, small veteran businesses become successful. So we're really being very, very active and proactive during the pandemic to help small businesses. The Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce is doing an amazing job of really trying to help small businesses. They have a number of programs coming up. This is the kickoff to a series of programs. On May 5th, they have something called Website Redesign. May 6th, 13th, and 20th, it'll be a follow-on session to this one, talking about SWOT analysis, testing, and troubleshooting. It's an opportunity for you to really talk about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and really delve deep into really developing that, enhancing your Google online presence. One thing to have a website, it's another to have a website that people visit. So knowing Google is critical. Taking control of your website. How do you generate e-commerce through the website and make money? And then mindfulness. We'll talk a little bit about that. In addition, some other topics that don't have a date. Mayor Bush, Thinking Big. I don't know anyone who's better at doing that. Noel Starry, networking, e-commerce session, social media session, and other important small business topics. So please, if you're a member of the Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce, take advantage of the programs they have. Let's put this crisis in perspective. This sign is all too familiar. Too many of the small businesses are closed because of the pandemic, and it's really impacting society in ways that were unanticipated, because people really didn't understand that America is a small business country. It's a country that we think it's a big business country. We think it's a union country, but really most jobs come from small businesses. So hence, when you look at some of the numbers over time, remember the 2008, 9, and 10, that horrible recession where unemployment hit 700,000, which was a record back then. The small businesses were hurt, but weren't the biggest factors. It was really more big business. Now in 2020, you can see over 7 million unemployment claims because the small businesses are being hit. And if you look at it a little more closely, you'll see that we've had record unemployment the last 5 weeks. So more than 20 million people have filed for unemployment, which is a record, and it's all because the small business world has been shut down. And just to indicate, I like this pie chart to indicate that really 90%, really 90% of the businesses out there are businesses under 500 employees. They're small businesses. They drive the economy. So when they aren't working, America's not working. So it's important and we're trying to get that message to the leaders to make sure that they understand it. So this training is really designed for anybody who are future founders, people because they've lost their job or starting a business, or are thinking about starting a business, people who've actually just started a business, and people who've had a business for a while. So a lot of what I talk about is really based on a book that I wrote called Intelligent Influence, the 4 Steps of Highly Successful Leaders and Organizations. The whole purpose of this is to show that we are all products of our influence, and that no matter what you do, where you are as an individual or as a business leader, you have to be in touch with your influence and the influence of others. How did I get into this influence? I was writing a book on leadership. I looked up the definitions of leadership, command, and authority, and discovered that the word influence was in each one of those definitions. And so it sent me on a path to really study this word influence. The interesting thing is that it is a word that's hidden in plain sight, that people will say she's influential, he's influential, yet not really define what they mean. Yet we do what we do, think the way we think, and accomplish what we accomplish because of influence. For example, the English accents, that no child is born with an accent. They could be born in London or Brooklyn or Birmingham, Alabama, or Johannesburg or Sydney, Australia, and they develop a very different English accent that often stays with them for the rest of their life. It's critical to understand that our favorite sports teams, our culture, our religion, our favorite food, all these are products of our influence, so we need to be in touch with that. One of the things that I always say is I know what the best music in the world is, and the research shows you best music in the world is the music you hear between ages 14 and 25. And it doesn't mean you don't like other stuff, but that was such a critical time in your life, and that so often when we have conflict or we're trying to sell in our business, we are interacting with people who have different music, different ways of acting and behaving. And it's important for us to appreciate that and understand that instead of trying to, we would never impose our musical tastes on others, yet we try to impose our leadership tastes, our product tastes on others instead of understanding that they have different music. So as we go through this, one of the things that I always like to say is to get people to really think about their circles of influence, that they're the target, but there's an inner circle of influence, people who are closest to them, family and friends. And then there's a social circle, people they interact with or work with, and a community circle where they live, and then a global circle, what we see in society. And so it's important that we're all products of that influence, but it's not just us as individuals. It applies equally well to our employees. Our employees are really products of their influence. So it's important to understand and really be sensitive to their influences. Then when you think about customers, the same thing. Customers buy because of influence, and their influence, if they're going to buy your products, their ways. And the businesses that are successful really understand how to interpret the influences and really make sure that customers are getting what they need based on their influences. So one of the ways I want to begin this is I like this picture because, as you know, as you take a plane, they say if you're an adult and you have a child with you, put on the air supply on you first before you put it on your child. And it's the same for business owners, that you have to be healthy. You have to be physically, emotionally healthy, mentally healthy before you can really make your business healthy. So this next section is really about putting the mask on you. And so I developed this analysis around trauma. I've done a lot of work in urban communities and coined a term called urban traumatic stress disorder. And this pyramid that I developed is really based on severe traumatic situations where people have frequent traumatic stress, which leads to disrupted neurodevelopment, which leads to social, emotional, and cognitive difficulties, which leads to risky behavior, which leads to poor health, which leads to early death. That is the extreme, but we're all experiencing trauma now. And so it's important for us to deal with that. And so to deal with that, I developed this self-reflection map, which starts with the question, what zone am I in today? How am I feeling? And it's important for us to really touch base with this and really have the people that we love and care for and work with do this as well. So the first section is really the panic zone, where you look at you're doing, am I critical of other people more than normal? Am I complaining more than normal? Am I doing selfish or self-destructive things? Am I enjoying sharing negative information? And I call that the panic zone. And that's a zone we really don't want to be in at this time. And we can't really manage our business as well if we're in that zone. The next zone is the awareness zone, is that I'm beginning to really understand that, and that's what this program is all about, is kind of the awareness zone, where you kind of stop self-sabotage. You think about helping others. You try to develop solutions to your problems. You begin to think about moving forward instead of being stuck in a mire of negativity. And then finally, what you do is you move to the success zone, where you're implementing solutions to problems. You're seeking out positive information. You're trying to give hope to family and friends, and you're using mindfulness to relax and focus. So let's take a second to talk a little bit about mindfulness. Mindfulness is a meditation that helps to bring you in the present, that helps you focus on your breath. And so if you look at the neuroscientific research, you see that the prefrontal cortex, after mindfulness, you get greater awareness of thoughts and emotions. The amygdala, the part of the brain that controls emotions, you're able to control better, and you have greater self-control and focus. And the hippocampus, which focuses on memory and learning, you'll be able to focus better. So when you're doing mindfulness, it really can have some very positive results. And so if you look at the mindfulness pyramid that I created, that if you have daily mindfulness practice, you have greater self-awareness, you have a sustainable regulation of emotions, increased focus, clearer personal goals, and success in life and at work. So it really is a very important way to do that. And if you don't know much about mindfulness, check out this mindful.org, that they'll take you through the process of mindfulness, which really involves sitting still, putting away the cell phone and closing your eyes and feeling your breath going through your body. And doing that, it'll be a minute. It'll seem like forever when you start, but then you go a minute, and then you get up to 3 minutes, and then 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes. Which they're recommending 15 minutes a day could really, really change your life and your focus, and it can help you become a better business leader. So the next thing we move to is mindset. The mindset, which is controlled largely by influence and others, is the collection of thoughts and beliefs that shape your perspectives, feelings, and actions. And it's important, especially in this time, to differentiate between the incremental mindset, which basically says, I want to keep the status quo. And if you look at this graph that I have, where the incremental mindset says, I have a high probability of success if I don't do anything differently, and I have a low probability of success if I take a risk, if I take even a calculated risk or calculated change. One of the challenges people are dealing with now is that change is being forced on all of us. We have to really deal with it and really develop what I call an entrepreneurial mindset. This whole idea that I realize that there's a high probability of success if I accept a calculated change and take calculated risks. And there's a low probability of success if I keep things the same. So it's important for us to really make sure that we have the entrepreneurial mindset as we deal with the challenges before us. So then the next step is to really move through what we call the SWOT analysis, which has been around for more than 50 years, which is very basic, yet it's very powerful. And I do this with big corporations and small businesses. It's really about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The strengths are helpful to achieve the objective. If you see on the left, the strengths and opportunities are helpful. The weaknesses and threats are obviously harmful. If you look internal origin, strengths and weaknesses are inside the organization. External opportunities, threats are outside of the organization. So let's go through that. So the SWOT analysis, strengths or characteristics of the business that are likely to have a positive effect on achieving the company's objectives. I'm encouraging each of you to do this, to write the strengths of your business and begin to really, this is a great way to begin to really analyze your business. Now, I've included a fictional example, Debbie's Diner, to talk about their strengths. It's a 50-year-old family business, so it's been around a while. Before the pandemic, it had a very loyal customer base. You get more quality food for the money than other restaurants, like a lot of New Jersey diners. And the free Wi-Fi attracted many business executives. So those were some of the strengths of a Debbie's Diner. So I encourage you to write down the strengths of your business. Weaknesses. What are the characteristics of the business that are likely to have a negative effect on achieving the company's objectives? You know, this is often hard to face, but it's important that every business leader face and address the weaknesses of the business. So in my example, Debbie's Diner, the COVID-19 shutdown is a weakness. An urgent need for cash is a weakness. The furlough of employees, retention of employees, and hiring of new employees is a weakness. Delay in receiving the payment protection program money is a weakness that Debbie's Diner has to deal with. The next is really looking at opportunities. What are the opportunities out there? The external factors and conditions that are likely to have a positive effect on achieving the company's objectives. So if we took the Debbie's Diner example, one, attending the Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce trainings. We've gone through some of those trainings, and those can be very, very valuable for businesses. Identify new ways to serve customers, innovative delivery, using technology, communicating more, those types of things. Developing a strategic vision for the business, thinking about the future of the business, rebranding the diner to generate more business when things open up again, to really look at the brand and make it more present for today. And then we have finally the threats, the external factors and conditions that are likely to have a negative effect on achieving the company's objectives. So you look at Debbie's Diner, the drain on cash will prevent the diner from opening up again. Many of the small businesses, because they've lost their revenue and they still have expenses, may not have enough cash to start up again. The stimulus is supposed to help with that, but it's had difficulty getting out and getting to the businesses it's supposed to get to. The pandemic shutdown will continue in the fall. That's a threat that could be devastating to many businesses, most businesses. The social distancing requirement will remain in force and make serving food difficult. You can't put partitions between the seats in a diner, so that's a real threat. And then people will, even if the pandemic ended tomorrow, that a lot of people aren't ready to go out to eat, even if the restrictions are lifted. They're scared to go out. So these threats are critically important to recognize. So we've gone through some of the issues, and I just want to remind you again that the wonderful programs that are going on with the Chamber of Commerce. These are important for you to take advantage if you have the time. So we'd gotten some questions before, and I tried to answer them. So let's kind of push through that, and we'll move now to mission and vision statements. So one of my favorite quotes is, "If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter which way you go." And the reality, this is the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. It's important that you need to have a mission and vision. So the mission answers the question, what do we do? What makes us different? It talks about the present leading to the future of your business. The vision statement answers the question, where do we aim to be? And it talks about the future of the business. Both of these can be critical in helping your business become successful. Some of the key mission state questions is what do we do? How do we do it? Whom do we do it for? What value are we bringing? Can the mission statement fit on a t-shirt? So these things, and I always use the example, I was on the board of the United States Tennis Association, which runs the US Open, which is the largest annual occurring sporting event in the world. It has a mission statement that all the volunteers know the mission is to promote and develop the growth of tennis. Everyone knows that. Your business should have a mission statement that fits on a t-shirt that every one of your employees really understands, and even some of your committed customers understand. The vision statement sets a standard of excellence. What's your vision? Clarifies direction and purpose, inspires enthusiasm and commitment, bridges the present and the future, is clear and easy to understand, and offers a realistically ambitious view of the future of the business. And if you want some ideas, if you Google mission and vision statements, you'll see some great examples that you can borrow from for your own business. The next step is to really look at, once we've done the SWOT analysis, the mission and vision, let's answer some questions about the market for your business, especially after the pandemic. Who are my current and potential customers? What are my customers' shopping and buying habits now? How large is my target market? How much are potential customers willing to pay? Who is my competition? How will my operations ensure that my company meets the market needs? Those are critically important questions. Also, questions about people success. What are your staff needs? What recruitment? It's important now to remember that before the pandemic, it was hard to recruit good people because unemployment was so low. Now unemployment is high. It's an opportunity to recruit some great people, to hire some outstanding individuals, to develop them and retain them. Now's the time to begin to think about those things. Also, if you aren't a financial person, now's the time to become more of a financial person, to understand profit and loss analysis. What is the real profitability of your business? Look at what is the cash flow? What do you need to have regular cash flow? A break-even analysis. What do you have to sell your products for so that your expenses income break even? What's the minimum you have to sell it for? Personnel expense forecast. And going forward, what is your cost of people, of hiring people and training people? And the balance sheet is the value of the company. Too many business folks don't take the time to really understand the value of the company. And often the value of the company is the owner of the business. So it's, and we really encourage every business every 18 months or so to really do a valuation analysis, either internally or even hire someone to do that. Then finally, what we want to do is really go over the SMART goals. So one is, and many of you have heard of this, but S is to be specific. M is to be measurable. A is to be attainable. R is to be realistic. T is timely. And so one of the things, once you've gone through the SWOT analysis, you've looked at the mission and vision, you've gone through looking at the market and financial and people issues, you can begin to develop some very, very specific SMART goals. So specific is, what do you want to accomplish? Who, what, where, and why? You want to be able to answer that question and really come up with a goal that is very specific. But it's also measurable. You have to know what success is, whether you've made the goal or not. So how will you evaluate whether or not the goal has been met? Then you move on to attainable. Is the goal achievable? Is this something that's realistic? And so sometimes people have a stretch goals and realistic goals. And the realistic goals are you willing and able to work toward the goal? Do you think it's realistic enough that you're going to put your heart and soul into making it happen? And then timely, does the goal have a clear and realistic timeline? Does it fit within the timeline that you want for your organization? So again, we've covered a lot of stuff today. I've sent the PowerPoint in a PDF form for you to review. Hopefully this tape will be helpful. Again, reminding you, there's some wonderful programs at the Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce that you should avail yourself of. And one of the other things that's important is to really look at other resources. So the Metuchen Area Chamber of Commerce, FDU Rothman Institute, we're here for you. The SCORE, I understand they don't call Service Corps retired executives anymore, they really SCORE, Small Business Development Centers, Small Business Administration, and Entrepreneur.com. So I hope this has been helpful, and I'm looking forward to keeping in touch, and good luck, everyone. The key is to remain positive. You are extraordinarily successful as business leaders, as individuals in society. Don't let the negativity get you down. You can push through this. This isn't the only crisis that's been in history, and small business people have been the backbone in helping this country turn around. So I'm betting on all of you, and please stay positive.